Hello, everyone. Wish you all a very happy new year. And this, as you can see on the screen, CMA Final Law, this is our target. And only this should be on our mind for the coming days. I know in New Year we take up a lot of resolutions, but being a law student, the resolutions that you have to remember, especially for the coming 4 to 5 days, has to be board resolution, special resolution, ordinary resolution, resolution by postal ballot, and all of that, right? Okay, so we have to now devise a strategy which guarantees you success if your efforts are sincere. Undoubtedly, if your efforts aren't sincere, nothing in the world can guarantee you success. Right. So how should we approach for the subject, ma'am? See, ideally you are just 4 days behind or just 4 days are left for your examination, but we have devised a strategy of 3 days. So in 3 days, you still have a chance. You still have a chance, and you can certainly make it. You still have a chance to score 70 plus in this beautiful subject, right? How? We have so much of coverage, ma'am. We have Companies Act, IBC, other corporate laws which are filled with SEBI, FEMA, so much, and of course, corporate governance. So, how should we approach with the subject? The first thing that you have to do is prepare a positive mindset. Ma'am, we are always positive only. No, you're not. To be very honest, the students who crib about it a lot, that we are unable to do this, we are unable to do that, we haven't studied yet, they are all the students who fill their mind with a lot of excuses. My dear, everyone has anxiety, everyone is nervous, everyone is attracted towards negativity, but that one thing that keeps you going is your strong willpower and the positivity you develop in your minds. It's very important that you place yourself above the excuses. You will always have an excuse, but you have to understand that your excuses are only this much and your resources that you are being given are this much. So you have ample of resources, you have good set of guidance, you have good set of books, you have good set of classes, you have everything. It was all about the external sources that I spoke till now. Now when I talk about internal sources, they're even better. You have a beautiful mind, my dear. You have a strong willpower, you have a beautiful family out there to support you, right? You have parents who are actually looking for your success and praying for your success day and night. So why are your excuses bigger? First thing that you have to develop is a positive mindset before you start your preparation for your examination. All your efforts will go in vain if you still surround yourself with all the negativity. Stay away from everyone. Everyone means every social media, everything that you have, right? Even if you're watching this particular video, it's of course something that is connecting you to your academics, something that's connecting you to your goal, and that is something which is allowed. Other than that, nothing. Cut off all your social ties from now on. Cut off everyone who is pulling you down. You don't have to chit chat with your friends and know their status. Okay, fine, how much you have studied. No, it doesn't matter how much they have studied. It is your journey, it is your, I would say, struggle, and you have to face it alone. Okay, so first thing that you have to do is develop a positive attitude and a positive mindset, and trust and believe yourself that you can do it and you will do it. So first thing that you have to do is say to yourself, I can do it and I will do it no matter where I stand. It doesn't matter I've just read 15% of the whole paper. No, I haven't completed all my classes. These are the FAQs that students are filled with. Ma'am, I haven't done my classes. I have just read this much. What is the important topic? What is the important question? What is the important chapter? You're only concerned about this. No, you don't have to. First thing, just tell yourself, I can do it and I will do it. Right now, let's start with the strategy, and we have a revision plan which is going to help us secure 70 plus. But of course, with sincere efforts, if your efforts aren't sincere, it's no success, right? All the important videos that I tell you about, which are related to your examination, are given in the description, so you can check them out. But one by one, okay. The first thing, how and let's say you have 2, 3, and 4. So these are the 3 days which are available to you, and I would say that we should not count this fourth day, right? Why? Because the first thing that I'm telling you is that your revision and learning part should be done. Obviously, we emphasize a lot on concepts in a subject like law, but just before your examination, I wouldn't suggest that going to any new concept or going to the deep rooted concepts. No, you just have to quickly revise the whole subject and learn the provisions, because ultimately you have to write the provisions. How are we going to do it, ma'am? We have a marathon which is already uploaded. We have a marathon in 100% English. We also have a marathon for your convenience in a mix of Hindi and English. You can definitely speed watch it. The topics which you do not remember at all, just plug in earphones, open your book, and with a relaxing mind, listen to it. You can increase the speed if you know the topics well, right? This is going to be super helpful. Now, I am writing over here, although I have pushed a video called as ABC analysis also for only the students who are just looking after what is more important, what is not so important, in which sequence I should go. You watch this video. But for all other students, you have the entire subject that you have to cover, and I would suggest start with IBC. See, IBC is just one chapter and has 10% of your weightage. So IBC plus other corporate laws should be done on second, before second, right? Before the end of the day, this should be completely done. That means you should remember all the provisions. How you will do it? You can take the help of marathon, or you can just review the book. You can take the help of short summary notes that have been provided to you. You can take help of the notes that you have yourself made. You can take help of the book in which you have highlighted the content, whatever it be. The whole essence is that you should learn it. Ma'am, how do we learn it? That is the problem. You have to learn by constantly repeating the same thing. And how do you assess yourself whether you have learned or not? Because you believe that you know everything. No, just cover the provision with your hand and try to recall it in your mind. That what the section says. I don't know what the section says. How an application can be filed by an operational creditor. So you should be able to recall the process. We are not writing it over here. You should just have it in your mind. If you're able to recall the steps, great, you can turn. So this is how the effective revision should be done. If you're unable to recall any provisions, immediately mark it as star. Immediately mark it as star, because this has to be reviewed again before examination. If you're able to recall a particular provision, great. So you have done the learning part and you have done the revision part. So this is how your learning and revision should be done. Coming to third, you have to revise entire company law. So second thing that you should do is other corporate law. The second thing that you should do is entire company law. Okay, and the third thing that you should do is CG. Why, ma'am, corporate governance at the end? Because it is extremely boring. To be very honest, it is extremely boring. And on top of that, it is something that you have to just mug up to secure good marks in examination. You have to write what is given. That is it. Whether you like it or not, you have to write it that way only. So, in this, I would advise that for the students who haven't read corporate governance, please don't get into the details of understanding what corporate governance is all about. You know what corporate governance is. Now you just have to know what is going to be asked in examination and how I have to write it. So only focus on the questions. You can certainly go for the quick marathon and only focus on questions. That is more important. So this can be done fourth morning also, or if you have time left, third late night. So fourth morning, not more than 2 to 3 hours should be contributed or devoted to corporate governance. So second, third, and fourth, your entire revision should be done Of course, I have given you a very generous limit. You have ample of days that I have given to you. If subsequently you want to reduce this time frame, that no, I have to read the other subject on second and I'll start it on third, then accordingly you'll have to manage, but you have to ensure that your revision should be effective. It should not be something that you're just flipping through the pages and saying that, okay, I have revised this chapter. Not at all. Whenever you are revising the chapter, whenever you're learning the concept, even when you're watching the marathon, you should be able to say that with me. When you're watching marathon, plugged in earphones, repeat with me. Say it with me. Whatever you remember about that particular section or that particular provision, just keep on saying it with me. It is going to be very helpful. Trust me. The more times and the loudly that you repeat things, it's going to be very helpful. Okay. So this is something that you have to do. Undoubtedly. Now, after you have done this, ma'am, how we have to utilize our fourth complete day. This is the time when you have to review questions. Review questions. Which questions, ma'am? The super 50 questions that I have given you. I told you the list of all important videos are there in the description. You can check them out. Then MTP of past 2 attempts and all the questions which are given in your study material at the end of the chapter. That questions also you have to review. You just have to see, okay, fine, if I read this question, I'm able to answer it. You don't have to write it, so it's hardly going to take any time. But you have to review all these questions because question reviewing is very, very, very important. Okay. After that, undoubtedly, you have a lot of provisions that you have marked as important, or you have marked them as difficult because you were unable to recall them. So that is also an extra effort that you are going to do. Now, fifth morning is all up to you. I insist take a good sleep. Okay. And take a good sleep on these 2 days. These 2 nights rather. That is very important. Fourth night, I would say that, okay, fine. 5 hours minimum sleep and keep it maximum also. Because you need good amount of time for revising, otherwise you might panic. So good sleep is required on second and third night very well, because continuously if for 3-4 nights you're not sleeping well, then your brain will not be able to deliver that 100% energy and concentration that you require during your 3 hours of examination. Coming to our examination, the 3 hours are extremely important. I'm not discussing the last minute preparation tips out here, although, but still you have to maintain the speed right from start. Choose the best question first. That is very, very, very important. And don't quote unnecessary section numbers. If you remember the section number well, fine, go ahead and quote it. If you do not remember, please don't quote it. You can simply write the relevant provision states that, or according to the provisions of Companies Act. Whatever you want to write, you can start with the provision. That's also not a problem, but don't quote incorrect section numbers. I have also given you a list of important section numbers. You can check that also. Now, one frequent question that I am witnessing is, ma'am, we haven't done anything yet. Is there any possibility to pass? Well, you don't have to. Of course, you have to look for the possibility only. That is the best positive approach that you can keep. But at the same time, you don't have to be so liberal about your career. You don't have to be so casual about your career. No, it is something that is your dream. It is something that is going to make your life. So come on. It's high time that you be damn serious about it. Now, the answer. Of course, if you have or if you deliver sincere efforts, plus if your luck is good enough, then you can certainly pass even now. What you have to do, again, I would insist marathon plus questions. Marathon, why am I insisting it a lot? The simple reason being, when we go to revise, we may take a lot of time in revising a certain thing. But when we are checking the marathon along with flipping the pages of our book and not missing out any concept, we know that, okay, this is the timeline of marathon. In the same timeline, or even better, if we speed watch it, it will be done. So we know and we can plan our studies accordingly. I have not given you, okay, devote 1 hour to this, half an hour to this, because I know that it depends upon student to student which chapter they have read better and which chapter they haven't focused much on. So that you can certainly devise, but I wouldn't insist go into a lot of planning. Make targets because you already have just 3 days. So make targets like this. Okay, fine. I have this entire day and I'm going to devote at least 10 hours right now. So in 4 hours, this should be done. In 6 hours, this should be done. So make broad time limits and please abide by it. Okay. Don't worry about any procedural things. You are strong, my students. I know that, and you can do it. So, wish you all the very best. And I want to see a lot of students scoring 70 plus, undoubtedly. And before we go and before I sign off this video, I want everyone to please like the video so that it can reach as many students as possible. Thank you, everyone.